So a few years ago, I went to the dentist to fix my teeth, and a friend of mine was with me, and I remember there was a time where she just went out of the room because it looked very gory to her because he was taking out my wisdom teeth. So she was kind of freaked out because I didn't use anesthetics. And the reason for that is because I watched this movie once by Jessica Alba called Awake. So what happened in this movie is this one guy went on an operation and he took the anesthetics, but he was awake while his body was still numb. And since that day, I kind of had a fear. Now, I hope the story doesn't give you a fear, but don't worry, it's okay. I'm over it. I will take it now. But they were injecting me with something else to kind of like numb the whole mouth so that I don't feel anything when they work on my teeth. Now, I remember that day she was going out of the room because she actually saw blood coming out of my mouth as they worked on my teeth. But I didn't feel anything. I was just sitting there relaxed, almost fell asleep. So today we're going to speak about the danger of pushed positivity. Pushed positivity is when you try to use things like positive affirmations and positive thoughts just to numb your negative emotions or your negative feelings. Now, research has shown that this can make you feel worse. It doesn't make you feel better. So if you come to a place where you're dealing with some negative emotions, or you just heard some bad news, or you're going through things, just to say, I'm going to think positively about this, or I'm just going to speak positive, I'm just going to cover this negativity with some positive thoughts, is not a healthy thing. And obviously I'm for positive affirmation, I'm for positive thoughts, but I want to express how important it is, and I want to place emphasis on how important it is to work through and deal with negative emotions. There's a universal law called the law of polarity, and it's almost like a battery. A battery has a positive side and it has a negative side, and that just means the positive and the negative are both important for the electricity to work, or for the battery to work, or for the power to work. You cannot just take the negative side away, and that's what we normally do when we just push positivity, almost like as if the negative doesn't play a role in our lives. But in the next video next week, so stay tuned for that, we're going to speak about how you can utilize your negative emotions, to have a more positive, healthy, good outcome. But we do need the good and we do need the bad in our lives. So what are some examples of pushed positivity? Normally when you hear these things, you will hear pushed positivity, and this normally happens when somebody goes through something and they go tell somebody else, listen, I'm going through something difficult or something bad happened, and you kind of need that counsel, you need that empathy, and you go to this person and they say things like, everything will work out for the good. What happens? They're not dealing with the emotion, they're not helping you through the emotion, they just push a positive phrase on it. Another one, there's a reason for everything. Some people experience very bad emotional things, and then we just say there's a reason for everything. Or every cloud has a silver lining. I still don't really know what they mean by that, but a lot of people say it. Or they will say, just think on the bright side. And we know there's good in everything. We know everything can work out for the good. But there are some times where we have to feel the negative emotions, we have to deal with the negative emotions, and we have to go through it. So why is it so dangerous to push positivity when there are negative feelings and negative situations? I'm going to give you a few things, but before I get there, I want to ask you to like this video and please push the subscribe button. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and your subscription and even you sharing this video, asking them to subscribe, will help us to get there. So why is it so dangerous to push positivity on something or someone? It discourages people from expressing and dealing with their emotions, because then they think like there's no place for me to feel negative emotions and there's no open space for me to deal with the negative situation. This also puts guilt and shame on people. So they will express a negative feeling, they will express something negative that happened, and all of these push positivity, these positive cliches that really doesn't work, will just put people in a place like, oh, okay, now you make me feel guilty for sharing that I'm going through something. It also causes people not to deal with mental health issues. And I do believe that in the world where we are right now, there are many people who are afraid to say what they feel because of this pushed positive affirmations. They feel like I could say, it's not okay for me to deal with my mental health issues. I must just say everything is okay. I must just push positive affirmation. And it also has a negative effect on relationships. And the reason why it has a negative effect on relationships is because giving this feedback shows a lack of empathy, shows that, cannot put myself in your shoes. I don't understand how you feel. I cannot counsel you or listen through or help you talk through the feeling that you have. And then in the future, when the person goes through something negative or when they're dealing with something, they're going to avoid you. And this is why many people today say things like, my partner doesn't want to speak to me anymore. When they go through a bad day, they want to tell me what's wrong. And I always ask them, how did you respond the previous time or other times when they told you about their negative emotions and negative feelings? Did you just say things like, it will blow over, don't worry about it, just think positive? If you respond to people in that way, there's a very good chance that they are not going to be comfortable to deal with you what they are going through. So it really affects relationships if you just try to push positivity on something. There was a book written by a girl called Whitney Goodmans, and the book is called Toxic Positivity. And I want to read you a quote that she said in this book. She said, healthy positivity means making space for both reality and hope. Toxic positivity denies an emotion and forces us to suppress it. When we use toxic positivity, we are telling ourselves and others that this emotion shouldn't exist. It's wrong, and if we try just a little bit harder, we can eliminate it entirely. This is exactly like I said in the beginning with the dentist. We just use something to numb it, to push it down, but we don't deal with it. Finally, I just want to say that I do believe in positive thinking. I do believe in positive affirmations. I do believe in positive journaling. I teach it a lot, and I'm totally for it. I'm just saying we shouldn't use it to cover up the things that we don't want to deal with, because it's also very important to work through negative feelings, negative emotions, and at the end of the day, we can use both holistically for a happy life. Thank you so much for watching from Mind Prosperity. We love you, and we'll see you soon again. Goodbye.